AITA for banning my fiancé's sister from our wedding after she cursed me out. I, 25F, have been with my fiancé, Ethan, 26M, for a little over a year. He proposed back in early March, and honestly, it's been amazing. Except for the situation with his sister, Sophie, 23F, ever since the engagement, Sophie has made it very clear that she doesn't like me anymore. I later found out that just a few days before Ethan proposed, she overheard him talking to their mom about the ring and proposal plans. She apparently exploded, saying it was too soon, that he was rushing things, and that she should be the one getting engaged first. For context, Sophie has been with her boyfriend Ryan, 21M, for over 2 years. Ethan and I had talked about marriage many times and felt ready, so the timing made sense for us. I stayed out of it because I figured Ethan's parents would handle the drama, and they did try. Sophie eventually texted Ethan saying she was happy for him, but stood by her opinion. Since then, her attitude toward me has completely shifted. She ignores me, refused when I invited her to come wedding dress shopping, watches all my social media stories but never interacts, and has never once said congratulations. Eventually, I decided to reach out. I messaged her and said I wanted to talk, not to argue but to understand why things felt so off between us. I regret that so much now, she absolutely unleashed. She said I'd been disrespectful to her parents and boyfriend, accused me of being dismissive, and then told me that I'd probably divorce her brother, and that she'd be the one picking up the pieces. She admitted she talks about me behind my back because she hasn't seen me in her house to confront me. I told her I've never been disrespectful, that her words were cruel, and that I was heartbroken she thought of me that way. I explained that we're at different life stages and that what makes sense for Ethan and me might not make sense for her yet. She doubled down, started cursing, said we'd probably divorce because we rushed into marriage, and even accused me of only wanting to get engaged because I heard her arguing with Ryan about it. For the record, not true. Then she brought up a random thing about me, accusing Ryan of bringing another girl home, which was actually me just asking if the girl we saw was his sister. She called me delusional and weird and ended with, "My point is, I'm only going to the wedding to support my brother." At that point, I blocked her everywhere. I told Ethan that I didn't want her at our wedding because no one gets to talk to me like that and still show up to smile for photos. I also sent the whole message thread to his mom so there wouldn't be any confusion. His mom was upset and called a family meeting with Ethan and Sophie. I didn't go, but Ethan filled me in. Apparently, his parents tried to make Sophie see my perspective, and I kept asking how she'd feel if someone treated her like that. She didn't have answers, but she still refused to admit she was wrong. Afterward, his parents asked if I'd be willing to sit down with everyone to try and move forward. I was hesitant, but agreed for the sake of peace, even though I made it clear I didn't want Sophie at the wedding. Fast forward to last week. Sophie texted Ethan inviting us to lunch with the family. I assumed this would be that resolution meeting. I was nervous but agreed to go till we get there. It's awkward but calm at first. Ryan, her boyfriend, who's actually really nice, cooked lunch. Then came the talk. Ethan's parents tried to mediate, saying they just wanted the family to be comfortable around each other, especially for future holidays or kids. Sophie wasn't interested. Every time someone spoke, she'd say things like, "I said what I said," or "I'm not sorry." She even said she didn't want to share her family with anyone, and made comments implying she was only being nice because she didn't start anything when I arrived. The conversation hit rock bottom when my FIL said he hoped things might improve someday, and Sophie replied, "I mean, yeah, maybe things could change, but right now I don't like this thing, BH." I froze. My Emile said, "Wow, Sophie," but I was in shock and started to panic. I excused myself and went into Ethan's room to cry. Ethan ended up yelling at her. His parents chimed in, and apparently Sophie started crying too because she felt attacked. Ethan eventually came to get me and said we could leave. My Emile apologized profusely and said she was horrified by her daughter's behavior. I told her I never meant for any of this to blow up, that I just wanted to fix the tension. But at this point, there's nothing left to fix. We left, and now Ethan and I have decided Sophie will absolutely not be invited to our wedding. We're even considering scrapping the micro-wedding entirely and just eloping with our parents as witnesses. Oh yeah, it's a mess. I hate that it turned out this way, but I also feel relieved knowing my instincts were right about her behavior all along. AITA for banning my fiancé's sister from our wedding after everything that happened? Comment NTA. She's clearly projecting her own insecurities about not being engaged yet. You tried to handle things maturely, but she chose to be cruel and disrespectful. No one deserves to be spoken to like that. Blocking her and uninviting her was absolutely the right call.